These two words describe Canadian cinema, Canadian excellence, and Canadian grit and determination and honesty. The great Norman Jewison, one of my personal heroes, probably one of the greatest Canadian entertainers of all time, has passed away at the age of 97. Now, he passed away at his home in California on the 20th, but his death was only made public in the last few hours. Norman Jewison, to me, epitomizes the Canadian aesthetic when it comes to the celebration and promotion and love of film. Now, born in Toronto, July 21st, 1976, his 8 decade career in many entertainment genres will never be forgotten. Now, he was a Canadian film and television director, producer, and social activist. He addressed social and political issues throughout his filmmaking career, often making controversial or complicated subjects accessible to mainstream audiences. He received the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award in '99 and received a BAFTA Award and was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, 3 Golden Globe Awards, and a Primetime Emmy. Now, he directed numerous feature films and has been nominated for the Academy Award for Best Director 3 times in 3 separate decades. To me, I think he's his magnum opus In the Heat of the Night with Sidney Poitier and Rod Steiger, which looked at racism in the Deep South. Fiddle on a Roof, one of the best stage to musical movies ever, and of course the Cher Academy Award winner Moonstruck. Other highlights directing career included 40 Pounds of Trouble in '62, The Cincinnati Kid, The Russians Are Coming, '66, The Thomas Crown Affair, the best, what they call Christ movie, Jesus Christ Superstar in '73, the James Caan science fiction movie Rollerball, Fist, and Injustice for All in '79, Best Friends in '82, the underrated A Soldier Story in '84, Agnes of God in '85, Other People's Money in '91, Only You in '94, The Hurricane in '99, and The Statement in 2003. In '88, he founded the Canadian Film Centre, and in 2003, he received the Governor General's Performing Arts Award for Lifetime Artistic Achievement for his multiple contributions to the film industry in Canada. Now, in these 97 years, he also was a graduate of Victoria College of University of Toronto, and he was active from 1950 to 2003. Now, the father of Tree was the son of Dorothy Irene Nee Weaver and Percy Joseph Jewison, who managed a convenience store and post office. He attended Cool Beach School and Malvern Collegiate Institute, and while growing up in the 1930s, displayed an aptitude for performing in theater. He is often mistaken for being Jewish due to his surname and direction of Fiddler on a Roof, but Jewison and his family are Protestant of English descent. He also served in the Royal Canadian Navy for 2 years during World War II, and after being discharged, traveled in the American South, where he encountered segregation, an experience that influenced his later work. Now, when he attended Victoria College at the University of Toronto, he graduated with a BA in 1949. As a student, he was involved in writing, directing, and acting in various theatrical productions, including the All Varsity Review in '49. Following graduation, he moved to London, where he worked sporadically as a scriptwriter for a children's TV program and a bit actor for the BBC, while supporting himself with odd jobs. Out of work in Britain in late 1951, he returned to Canada to become a production trainee at the legendary CBLT in Toronto, which was preparing for the launch of CBC television. Now, when CBC TV won the air in the fall of '52, Jewison was an assistant director, and of course, this included the great Lorne Greene as a newsreader. During the next 7 years, he wrote, directed, and produced a wide variety of musicals, comedy variety shows, dramas, and specials, including The Big Review, Showtime, and The Bears Beat. In '53, he married Margaret Ann Dixie Dixon, a former model. They had 3 children, Michael, Kevin, and Jennifer, who all pursued careers in the entertainment industry. In '58, he was recruited to work for NBC in New York, where his first assignment was Your Hit Parade, following by the popular The Andy Williams Show. The success of these shows led to directing specials featuring performers such as Harry Belafonte, Jackie Gleason, and Danny Kaye. The television production that proved pivotal to Jewison's career was a Julie Garland comeback special that aired in '61, which included Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, and led to a weekly show that Jewison was later called in to direct. Now, he was getting called in to do a lot of variety stuff because he was working on a $5 budget in the CBC and making these shows look like $1 million. Now, visiting the studio during rehearsal for the special, actor Tony Curtis, which he credited him with getting him kind of his big break for movie directing, suggested to Jewison that he should take a chance at directing a feature film. Now, it began with Curtis and Janet Leigh's film production company, Kurt Lee Productions, who hired him to direct the comedy 40 Pounds of Trouble in February '62. The film was financed and distributed by Universal International Pictures. It was the first motion picture ever filmed at Disneyland. Kurt Lee Productions' contract with Jewison had a negotiable option for further films if the initial picture was successful. And now, in early October '62, he formed his own independent film production company, Slimco Productions, and signed a two-picture deal with Curtis's new film production company, Curtis Enterprises, as well as an additional two-picture deal with Universal International Pictures. Although the two pictures for Curtis Enterprises were not made, both films for Universal International were. He made two comedies starring Doris Day, The Thrill of It All, released in '63, co-starring James Garner, and Send Me No Flowers, released in '64, and co-starring Rock Hudson. After another comedy, The Art of Love, Jewison was determined to escape from the genre and tackle more demanding projects. Now, his personality and overall strong presence really helped this movie. And the film was The Cincinnati Kid, a drama starring Steve McQueen, now considered one of the finest movies made about gambling. And Jewison considered it one of his personal favorites because it was first challenging drama. And of course, influenced Scorsese and Coppola and all the gangster, what he called directors who came after. This success was followed in '66 by a satire on Cold War paranoia. The Russians are coming, the Russians are coming. This was the first film Jewison also produced, and it was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. He felt that doing a plea for coexistence or the absurdity of international conflict was important right at that moment. While reaction to Russians was positive, Jewison was labeled as a Canadian pinko by right-wing commentators. That's kind of... Most Canadians have leaned toward democratic socialists, so that would be a pinko. Not Plinko, by the way. Jewison once said, he said, being judged by Americans is like a pig judging a moose. It makes no sense. Now, continuing the string of successes was one of the films that's become closely identified with the director in the heat of the night. If this was a 6-star movie, this was the only one that I saw as a kid that deserved 6 stars. Not only 5 stars, it went beyond excellence. This was a crime drama, was set in a racially divided southern town and starred the great Sidney Poitier and Oscar winner Rod Steiger. The film won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, while Jewison was robbed in his nomination for Best Director. While he was filming, Robert Kennedy told Jewison that this could be a very important film. Timing is everything. Kennedy reminded Jewison of that prediction a year and a half later when he presented him with the Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Drama. As a follow-up, he directed another film with McQueen using innovative multiple-screen images of the crime caper The Thomas Crown Affair in '68, which again influenced a lot of movies into the 1970s, or what he called the New Hollywood. He was never considered part of the New Hollywood because he basically was the Canadian aspect of Hollywood that everybody now sees as important. The Canadian aesthetic, be it acting or directing or whatever. Canada has a big influence on Hollywood going back to Mary Pickford. Now, from that point, Jewison produced all feature films he directed, often with associate Patrick Palmer. He also acted as producer for films directed by others, beginning with his former film editor Hal Ashby's directorial debut, The Underrated The Landlord. After completion of his period comedy Gaily Gaily in '69, Jewison, having become disenchanted with the political climate in the States, moved his family to England. He had no money to make in Canada, so he decided to go to England. Now, at Pinewood Studios, northwest of London, and a location on Yugoslavia, he worked on the musical Fiddler on the Roof in '71, which was reissued in '79 in expanded format. This won 3 Oscars and was nominated for 5 others, including Best Picture and Director. During the filming of Fiddler, Jewison was also the subject of the '71 NFB documentary Norman Jewison, Filmmaker, directed by Douglas Jackson. Jewison's next project was the musical Jesus Christ Superstar, based on the Broadway musical written by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice. He promoted and put it together from conception to movie. So it was wholly pretty well his production. Now, it was filmed in Israel, where Jewison also produced the Western Billy Two Hats, starring Gregory Peck. Superstar, which was heavily controversial for its treatment of a religious subject, was followed by another movie that sparked critical debate, this time over violence. The underrated Rollerball with James Caan in 1975 is set in the near future when corporations rule the world and entertainment centered around a deadly game. The next film he directed, the labor union drama Fist, starring Sylvester Stallone, was loosely based on the life of Jimmy Hoffa and also provided some controversy, this time regarding the screenwriting credit. Screenwriter Joe Esterhaus was unhappy to share the screenwriting credit with the film star Stallone, as he felt Stallone's input had been minor, while Stallone claimed to have basically rewritten the whole script. I watched the movie from start to finish, and I think Esterhaus is wrong. So it was Stallone's movie, pretty well rocky and like in a labor group. Now, 1978, he returned to Canada, settling in the Caledon area in Ontario and establishing a farm that produced prize-winning cattle. Operating for a base in Toronto, as well as one maintained in California, he directed high-profile actors Al Pacino in Justice for All and Burt Reynolds and Goldie Hawn in the rom-com Best Friends, and he also produced The Dogs of War '81 and Iceman in '84. During this period, Jewison also produced the 53rd Annual Academy Awards in '81, which was slated to air the day President Ronald Reagan was shot and had to be rescheduled. Revisiting the theme of racial tension that had been characterized in The Heat of the Night, Jewison's very underrated A Soldier Story, based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning play of the same name, was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. His next film was also based on a successful play, Agnes of God, which was set in the Quebec convent, which starred Jane Fonda, Meg Tilly, and Anne Bancroft. This received 3 Academy Award nominations, and it was considered one of the early edition of the chick flicks, which got big in the 80s and 90s. In '86, he then discontinued his agreement with film producer Columbia Pictures, citing the behavior of British filmmaker and head of production David Putnam, who we didn't like very much. After falling out with Columbia, his Yorktown Productions company was moved to MGM for a 3-year agreement to direct, produce, and develop pictures from the studio, and gave MGM the right of first refusal on films he wished to make. Now, he wanted to get back in the romantic movie genre, and boys, did he hit it out in the park with this one. His next film proved to be one of his most popular romantic films ever made, and for many, the top romantic movie of the 80s. It gave Cher an Oscar for Best Actors, and it was a box office hit that garnered a total of 3 Academy Awards, and Jewison again received his 3rd Best Director nomination, losing again. For his next decade, Jewison continued to direct feature films released by major studios. In Country was a drama concerned with Vietnam veterans and the daughter of a war casualty. Other People's Money was a social comedy about a Greed in the 80s. Only You was a romantic comedy set in Italy. And Bogus was a fantasy about a young boy and his imaginary friend. He also served as a producer for the film January Man. He was also executive producer for the Canadian movie Dance Me Outside, of Aboriginal drama, and branched back into television as director and producer, including the series The Res from '96 and '98. It was not until the early '90s that he branched back into television, starting with producing the TNT biofilm Geronimo in '93, and again he was dabbling in Aboriginal issues. Now, The Hurricane, based on Reuben Hurricane Carter case, was Jewison's 3rd film to explore the effects of racism. Hurricane Carter had been falsely convicted for a triple murder in New Jersey during the mid-'60s when he was a heavy middleweight contender. Denzel Washington won a Golden Globe and was nominated for an Oscar for his portrayal of the Hurricane. In '99, Jewison's work was recognized by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences when he was given the Irving G. Thalberg Award for Lifetime Achievement. Jewison continued directing and producing up until his last film to be released, the 2003 thriller The Statement, based on a novel by Brian Moore, starring, of course, the great Michael Caine. That same year, his heralded biography, This Terrible Business Has Been Good to Me, was published, expressing his enthusiasm, conviction, and creative passion that sustained his career. And again, the interviews will live on because he was a very interesting interview because he was once asked, he said, did the CBC really mean that much to you when you're doing movies? He said, when you treat an actor fairly, they will recognize this. And he knew that it came from the CBC, where we weren't doing it for money, we were doing it for the love of the art. He said that's why I had an easy time to do with my actors and my coworkers. Now, in '99, he directed a HBO television movie, Dinner with Friends, with Andy McDowell, Greg Kinnear, Tony Collette, and Dennis Quaid. The film was based on a play of the same name by Donald Margulies. He was eventually nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding TV Movie. Now, again, he loved his home country. His commitment and contribution to film in Canada knows no bounds, and is evidenced by the creation of the Canadian Centre for Advanced Film Studies in '86, which opened in '88 as an advanced film school on the Winfields Estate in Toronto, later renamed the Canadian Film Centre. Now, more than 1,700 alumni and 100 alumni companies have come out of the CFC's programs to date, including filmmakers and or TV creators, Clement Virgo and Damon Delaveria, who did The Book of Negroes, Brad Payton, who did San Andreas, Daniel Berkman, who did The Witch, Tassie Cameron, who did Rookie Blue, Michelle Lavrette, who did Killjoy's Lost Girl, Vincenzo Natalia, Cube and Splice, actor Giacomo Giannotti, Grey's Anatomy, Annie Murphy, Schitt's Creek, El Gore, Race, screen composer Todor Kobakov, singer-songwriter Adeline, Alex, digital media entrepreneurs Aspect Science, Metazoic and Wanderer, alumni companies Shaftesbury Films, Conquering Line Pictures, Copperheart Entertainment, Smiley Guy Studios, and Secret Locations. Now, CFC has helped incubate or develop groundbreaking original content, including Orphan Black, and the award-winning first feature Closet Monster, and internationally award-winning documentary feature Stories We Tell, which was, of course, from director and CFC alumna Sarah Pauly, who won an Oscar last year for screenwriting for Stories We Tell. Now, additionally, feature films such as Rhymes for Young Ghouls, director the late Jeff Barnaby, Cube by director Vincenzo Natali, and Rude by the director Clement Virgo have been developed and produced through CFC features. Now, each year in LA, Jewison would bestow the CFC Award for Creative Excellence to CFC alumni in recognition of their outstanding work and contributions to on-screen based entertainment in his industry. He presented the inaugural award to CFC alumna Semi Shallis, Mad Men in 2014, to Graham Manson and John Fawcett for Orphan Black in 2015, and of course to the great Don McKellar from Last Night, The Red Violin, and Highway 61 in 2016. According to Jewison's biography, he was a chancellor of Victoria College. He also helped to found the Toronto International Film Festival and a Naval Club of Toronto. Now, he did it as chair emeritus of the CFC. Now, personal life, again, very strong family connections. Norman Jewison and his wife Margaret married on July 11th, 1953. She died on November 26, 2004, the day following her 74th birthday in beautiful Orangeville, Ontario, from undisclosed causes. He had 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Now, in recognition of his contributions to the arts, as well as his sustained support, Jewison was installed as Chancellor of Victoria University in the University of TO in 2004, and he held the position for 6 years. So where do you think he found all this time? Well, I tell you how. A very strong family support. Now, in 2010, he was also pleased to hear that his colleague Blake Golden donated $1 million to Victoria to establish a specialized first-year liberal arts program in his name. The program began in 2011, welcoming fewer than 30 select students into the Norman Jewison Stream for Imagination in the Arts. Goldring is a 81 graduate of the school. Now, also in 2010, a very busy year for him, he married Lynn St. David, who he began dating in 2008. Her married name is Lynn St. David Jewison. Jewison, again, unfortunately passed away at his home in LA on January 20th, 2024, at the young age of 97. Boys, if you could take 97 years and do as much as he did. But I think as Canadians, we're very lucky. We have all the SCTV alumni. We got the Quebec, what I call the movie alumni, the CBC alumni, the musicians, the performers, the stage people, Stratford. You look at people, William Shatner, Christopher Plummer. He is a top 10 Canadian entertainer of all time. And some days he's number one, some days he's number 10, because when we really think of what he's done, who's the only comparison out there to this guy? There's very few. He did for a lot for his home country of Canada, a lot for England, a lot for the States. I think of Robert Wise, I think of the Warner Brothers, I think of Cecil B. DeMille, I think of the giants of the industry. But he took that Canadian aesthetic and made it his. And everybody he touched me. I would not be a movie fan. Like there's an aspect of these movies as a Canadian who watched this. That's one of us. That's how it felt like. To hear he's passing today, like literally, I thought he was going to live forever. I never had a chance to meet him, but boys, if I did, I said, thank you for who you were. So let's look at the filmography on film. 40 Pounds of Trouble, The Thrill of It All, Send Me No Flowers, The Art of Love, Cincinnati Kid, The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming, In the Heat of the Night, The Thomas Crown Affair, Gaily Gaily, Fiddler on the Roof, Jesus Christ Superstar, Rollerball. By the way, he was screenwriter for Jesus Christ Superstar as well. Fist, screenwriter. Injustice for All, Best Friends, A Soldier Story, Angus of God, and these were all the later ones from 68 on. He was director and producer. He put the money when his mouth is. Moonstruck, In Country, Other People's Money, Only You, Bogus, The Hurricane, and Statement. He was producer only in movies The Landlord, Billy Two Hats, The Dogs of War, Iceman, and The January Man. And executive producer for Dance Me Outside. Acting roles, his first one was in Canadian Pacific in 1949, then The Landlord, Fiddler on the Roof, Jesus Christ Superstar, The Stupids, and an Ali Smithy film, Burn Hollywood Burn, where he played himself. Now TV, Let's See, The Big Review, On Stage, The Denny Von So Show, Wayne and Schuster, the Bears Beat, The Adventures of Chic, Your Hit Parade, The Chevy Showroom starring Andy Williams, The Big Party, The Revlon Review, The Fabulous 50s, An Hour with Danny Kaye, Belafonte, New York 19, The Secret World of Eddie Hodges, The $1 Million Incident, Boulevard Watch Time with Pat Boone, The Broadway of Lerner and Lowe, Judy Garland Show, and then after an 18-year absence, the 53rd Academy Awards, another 12-year absence, Geronimo, then Picture Windows, The Reds, Dinners with Friends, and Walter and Henry. Now, awards and nominations, like I said, extremely great. Academy Awards, Best Picture, The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming. 67, Best Director, The Heat of the Night. 71, Best Picture, Best Director, Fiddler on the Roof. 84, Best Picture, Soldier Story. 87, Best Picture, Best Director for Moonstruck, and the Thalberg Award in 99. BAFTA, Best Film Any Source, nominated for In the Heat of the Night, United Nations Award, he won it. Emmy Award, nominated for Dinner with Friends in 2002. Golden Globe Award, nominated for Best Director, In the Heat of the Night, Fiddler on the Roof, and The Hurricane. Industry Awards, won a Silver Bear for Moonstruck in Berlin. Moscow International Film Festival won the Golden Prize for A Soldier's Story. New York Film Critics, Best Direction and Best Film, Fiddler on the Roof. Best Film won in 67 and was nominated Best Director, again, Heat of the Night in 67. American Cinema Editors Golden Eddie Award, Directors Guild of Canada Lifetime Achievement Award, and Windsor Film Festival Lifetime Achievement Award. Member of the Order of Canada, Companion in 92, Officer in 82, Order of Ontario in 89, 3945 Star for his service in the Royal Canadian Navy, Defence Medal for service with the Royal Canadian Navy, Canadian Volunteer Service Medal, 3945 War Medal, again for service with the Navy, 125th Anniversary of the Confederation of Canada Medal, Queen Elizabeth Golden Jubilee Medal, the Canadian version, and the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal in 2012. So again, my God, ladies and gentlemen, and let's go over just the overall nominations. Cincinnati Kid got 1 Golden Globe nominations. Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming, 4 Academy Award nominations, 2 BAFTA nominations, 5 Golden Globe Award nominations, 2 wins. In Heat of the Night, 7 Academy Award nominations, 5 wins, 4 BAFTAs, 2 wins, 7 Golden Globe nominations, 3 victories. Thomas Crown, 2 Academy Award nominations, 1 win, 1 BAFTA nomination, 2 Golden Globe nominations, 1 win. Gailey, 3 Academy Award nominations. Fiddler on the Roof, 8 Academy Award nominations, 3 victories, 3 nominations at the BAFTAs, 4 Golden Globe noms, and 2 victories. Jesus Christ Superstar, 1 Academy Award nominations, the BAFTA, 4 nominations and 1 win, and 6 nominations at the Globes. Rollerball, 4 nominations at BAFTAs, 1 win, and Justice for All, 2 Academy Award nominations and 1 Golden Globe nom. Best Friends, 1 Academy Award nomination, 1 Golden Globe nom. A Soldier Story, 3 Golden Globe nominations, 3 Oscar nominations. Agnes of God, 3 Oscar nominations. Moonstruck, 6 Academy Award nominations, 3 wins, 4 BAFTAs nominations, 5 Golden Globes, and 2 wins. By the way, Agnes of God, the 2 Golden Globe nominations, 1 victory. In Country, 1 Golden Globe nominations, and Hurricane, 3 Golden Globe nominations, 1 Academy Award nomination. So this is our total. These movies got 41 Academy Award nominations, 12 victories, 22 BAFTA nominations, 4 victories, 41 Golden Globe nominations with 12 victories. So in the major guilds, over 100 nominations with 28 victories. So to say he's going to be missed is an understatement, ladies and gentlemen. All I can say is Norman Jewison, 1 year in his life is such a celebration. And as a Canadian, I try to reach out for excellence every day. And Norman Jewison, when I was a 5-year-old kid in 1972, seen in the heat of the night for the first time. And when that fucking sharecropper got the slap across the face from Cindy Putchey's character, I said only a Canadian could help direct that. Because a Canadian can step back and take a look at British culture and Canadian culture and American culture and make it all simple. He was a human being directing and producing movies about human beings. There was no negativity in these movies. If anything, it was looking at for a better path forward. And I will miss him every day. And I'm telling you something, when John Candy passed away, it was hard. It hasn't really sunk into me because I thought Norman Jewison be around forever. Because if I would have met him the first time, I said, can I ask you a question? How was the food at the CBC commissary? I heard it was pretty good. He said once, the best thing of working for CBC was the free meals. Like he had a kind of a wicked sense of humor. It was pretty weird. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're a big fan of Norman Jewison, leave me a memory here. I can tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. The world's a better place with people like Norman. And the 100 years he was on this planet. My God, what a life. So thanks for listening. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And may Norman, we're going to miss you, brother. May you rest in peace. Bye.